Week 6 of First Down Playbooks, Youth Football Chalk Talk. And we're going to take a little detour tonight. We're going to get in here and show you a couple formations that we have, like we've been doing every week. But we want to spend the majority of tonight's time talking about unbalanced formations, how to line up in them as a football team, and how to run plays out of them, protect yourself against some of the things that can happen to you if you get a little crazy with it. And also, we want to turn the table and flip the play a little bit and talk about how to defend unbalanced formations from a youth football perspective. But before we do that, we'll go into the find a play area here, First Down Playbook. And as you can see, we actually have a ton of unbalanced looks in the varsity section too. But if you go down here to the youth offense, all right, we open this up. The two formations that we really haven't covered are single wing and wing T. Now, the wing T is a very popular formation with First Down Playbook youth football coaches. But as you go in there, you're going to see just a ton of information. I'll open it up here for you so you can take a glance at it, because we really don't have enough time to spend very much time at all on this, because I want to get to the unbalanced part. But the wing T is really a lot like the double wing that we talked about in week 1, except your back is already in the backfield instead of bringing them in motion. So understand that you've got a wealth of plays, run and pass with the wing T with First Down Playbook. And now we'll go back and we'll take a look at the single wing, which really falls right into place with what we're going to talk about tonight. The way First Down Playbook draws up our youth football single wing, it is an unbalanced formation, okay? And we're going to go into a special playbook I've made and take a look at that here in a second. But let's just look at this power play, and we'll get more specific about an unbalanced and an over formation is here in a second. But our single wing plays don't have a quarterback. The single wing has 3 backs in the backfield, and essentially that ball could be snapped almost to any of the 3. Typically, it'll be the 2 back or 1 back. But the important part, and the part that we're going to focus on tonight, is the fact that the center is right here and has the ball, obviously, and is snapping it to one of these backs, like I just said. But there's only 2 players on this side of the ball to the weak side, thus making that tight end, that tackle, F, whatever you want to call it, making that player eligible. And then over here, you've got a 4-man surface. You've got a guard, a tackle, another tackle, and a tight end. So another way of looking at it could be it's a guard, a tackle, and 2 tight ends. But either way, the inside tight end is not eligible. But that doesn't change the fact that you've got a 4-man surface and a wing. And if you're on defense over here, it would be a very good idea to start adjusting, or else you're going to get wore out over here to the strong side. Now, once again, I don't want to spend a lot of time in here either, because I want to get over here and start talking about the unbalanced formations, and the single wing will be a part of that. But as you can see, the single wing, just like the wing T, First Down Playbook has got a ton of information in here for you as a First Down Playbook coach. And when you open up any of these, just like any other formation in First Down Playbook, we're going to block that play up against 6 different looks: a 6-2, a 4-4, 4-4 split, a 5-2, a 5-3, and a 5-3 bear. So in essence, what we do here at First Down Playbook is we do a ton of the work for you before you ever get to this part. Now, nobody wants to coach your football team, and so that's why the new draw and edit tool is it is the best thing out there for coaches. I don't care if you coach in Foxborough or if you're coaching a youth football team. And the reason we say that is because not only have we done the bulk of the work for you, giving you the ability to flip the play, any one of those defenses, giving you coaching points right here, but really the big deal is, gang, is that now you can edit that play. So if there's something about this play, and particularly at the youth football level, that if there's something about this play that you want to change, and you may go, yeah, the one thing I want to do is I want to go in here and I want to put my players' initials in here so that they know where they line up. You can do that because once you touch one of our plays and save it, it's now out of our system and it's one of your plays. All right, so that's why what we offer you at First Down Playbook is not only a ton of information provided by NFL coaches, provided by and also drawn up with the best drawing tool out there. We also, at the end of the day, put the chalk back in your hands and let you coach your football team. Okay, so now let's get to the talk tonight about unbalanced formation. So I'm gonna go back here and we'll go in, made a playbook. All right, let's go to team playbooks over here. And we created one just for the night. It's got offense and defense. Now, some things about unbalanced formations to keep in mind. Okay, so we'll start from the offensive perspective. If you want to run an offense with an unbalanced formation, and we've already talked to, it might have been 2 months ago, we talked to a coach who was so excited he was already creating his unbalanced formations, and that's great. But the thing you need to understand is this: is that unless it's your base, you better be extremely careful about your unbalanced formation, all right, and how much you're going to put in with it. Now, you're sitting here, you're looking at the single wing exactly like we were talking about before. Now, if you're going to run the single wing and that's going to be your base offense, then you can go ahead and you can create a pretty, detailed offense with maybe 2 or 3 plays to the strong side, two counter plays to the backside, and have a play in where you want to get the ball to this F tight end or tackle. Maybe they won't cover him, that type of thing. But if you're going to take a base formation, all right, and we'll go back here to our playbook again. All right, if you go back here and you're taking a base formation and you're just planning on creating an unbalanced formation with it, then you need to be very selective about what you're going to run. Okay, so I'm going to open up one of these other plays right here in our offensive playbook. And as I do that, you're going to see right here that we've got an unbalanced quarterback sweep. Okay, now it's out of the wishbone. So all we've done is we've taken the backside tackle, okay, or the backside tight end, and we've moved them over here and we've made a 4-man surface. Now, if you're going to do that, you have to be prepared for 2 things. You have to be prepared if the defense does not adjust, okay, then really what's going to happen is all of your offensive linemen are going to have a different look, meaning they're used to having a 6'2", as it would be right here. They're used to having that defense line up exactly pretty much the way a 6'2" should. But if you line up and you've got a 4-man surface and you're in a heavy alignment, we call this heavy right here with a guard, tackle, tight end, or if you want to call it a guard, tackle, tight end. But there's 4 guys over here. If they don't adjust to that, it's going to be a totally different look. Now, so our suggestion is that unless you're going to run the unbalanced formation as your base, you need to have plays that have very sound fundamental rules. So this play right here, a couple things about it that make it very simple, and why we recommend that if you're going to run an unbalanced or a heavy play, it would be a good play. One is nobody's handing the ball off to anybody. So if you do have somebody coming unblocked, you really don't have the threat of a handoff. You got the quarterback just reversing out and getting behind your puller and also all of your backs. Now, some of you may not have that advantage or that luxury in the league you play with. Some of the leagues don't allow the quarterback to run. But if you were in that situation, you could always toss it to that 3-back and not run the risk of anybody coming unblocked as well. Now, rules are very important when you're going to be coaching up unbalanced plays, because once again, you're never really sure how the defense is going to adjust or if they're going to. You'll notice here with a 6'2" defense, what we've done is we've come in and we've actually adjusted this play. All right, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to get to the edit version of this play so we can look at a couple things. All right, so what you can see is that we've taken this player right here, all right, And essentially, for the defensive perspective, we've made him the center, because if the defense is doing, and let's just flip it here and take a look, if they're doing what they should do, then somebody is going to recognize that formation and they're going to make a call. And really, they should treat that guard like the center, and they should balance it up and get more defense over here to the right. Now, if they don't do that, if they do not do that, and you're running your play, then you're going to be in good shape. But keep in mind that if they didn't adjust their defense to this, your offensive linemen are going to line up and maybe have a completely different look than what you worked on that week. So here's our recommendation. If you're going to run an unbalanced play or a heavy play, as you're looking at it right here, have a play where your offensive line has rules. Don't just put them out there and tell them that this is the look you're going to get and this is what you should block. So our rules for this play, front side, would be block on to over to inside. Now, everybody's covered right here. But if somebody were not covered, they would block the next thing over top of them. All right. If they didn't have anybody on them or over them, they would block down on the next person inside. You can give a 10, 11, 12-year-old player those rules, and they should always be good. That way you've got it taken care of, or you should in theory, to where there are no open gaps where a defender could run through. All right. And so now, if you're on the backside, then you want to just get one person designated as a puller, and we've got the backside guard here pulling. Notice we don't have that guard trying to pull all the way around the edge, because that's a long edge. You have to understand that's not just a 3-man edge now where he would be pulling up inside. All right, that's a 4-man wedge, which almost guarantees that that pulling guard would never get there. So you're pulling that backside guard and really just trying to get an angle on this backside linebacker right here. Now, the other thing that you'll notice is the type of play we've got here is we've got everybody on the snap of the ball going, because really you don't want it to be some type of downhill inside play, because and I know I'm beating a dead horse here, keep saying it over and over again. You run the risk of somebody turning somebody loose on defense when you get into these odd formations and the defense lines up weird. So what you've got here in this situation, once again, you've got the quarterback getting behind the 4-back, the 2-back, and the 3-back. Now, if the defense happened to not adjust here, you're even in better shape, because you've got all of this leverage out here, and you also have all those blockers. Now, if they do adjust, you still should be in good shape. Now, you might get a deal where, you might play somebody, and that coach he may adjust this way. He may go ahead and just tell that corner, all right, you're going to have this backside tackle, and everybody will come off the edge, and we're going to get the linebackers over here, and they're going to overplay your overload side. And that wouldn't be a bad idea if you're that coach, all right, because you'd rather have that happen than to just get beat up over here all day and have a long day on defense. So we'll back out of this play here for a second, and we'll go back into our playbook area. The second thing that we suggest, all right, is that you always just have at least one play to come back and counter with. All right, so let's back out here. Now, another thing we would point out is that you need to have someone on your coaching staff down the field a little bit that can actually look at and see what's going on with these plays, because odds are on offense, your quarterback may be able to help you a little bit, but it's going to be a deal to where you want to try to understand how the defense is adjusting. All right, now, so if you look right here, here's the same formation. And once again, we haven't gotten a lot of rocket science involved with this. What we've done is we essentially have got almost the same play going to the weak side, all right? And that would be in the situation that where the defense had now begun to overload over here to the strong side. And so rules, all right, would be on, all right, to inside, on to over to inside. Get your pulling guard, and now on the backside, everybody just reaches, because all you got to do is just make sure that that whoever you're blocking runs around the outside. And so now you've got a pulling guard, a 4-back, a 2-back, and a 3-back all out here, all right, leading up on what could potentially be a corner. Okay, now let's get here and let's look at this. We'll try to get back to this play again. Okay, so we got a counter play. Another way that you could run a counter play, right, to keep the defense honest is to make sure that you have a play, at least one play that comes back and you throw the ball to that eligible tackle right here. Now, you can see what we've got here is we've got a play where we faked, all right, the toss to the strong side, and we've got an awful lot of receivers coming over here to the weak side. You can have a situation. Now, we've got the tackle as number 1 in the read because there's a strong chance if the defense does not adjust that tackle may be wide open right there. So the way we've got this read out is, all right, tackle 1, the 4-back in the flat 2, and the tight end 3, and then the quarterback run 4. And so that's an awful lot of offense that ends up over here when you start off the play with an unbalanced formation to this side. Now, we pointed this out to you last week. The field in the background for the youth plays is really as much cosmetic as anything else. And we try to do as good as we can to get the distances from the formation, but they shouldn't be, really for the youth plays. What we're trying to do is we want our players and the defenders to be as big as possible. We know that what it's like teaching 9 and 10-year-olds in youth football. Right now, but as the quarterback comes out of this, what you want to do is look right here to the tackle, because that could be your home run ball. All right. Now, the rest of this is depending on how good your quarterback or how mature your quarterback is, I should say, right? Because sometimes if you give them too much, see a little, see a lot, see nothing takes place. So you really want to just know what that quarterback right there can see. Is it tackle to the 4-back? Or can they actually get that tight end in a read too before they run the ball? So what we're trying to get to here go back to the team playbooks, is we're trying to make sure that your first lesson is if you're going to run an unbalanced formation on offense, okay, and it's not your main formation, then we would recommend that you keep the plays to a minimum. We would recommend that you have maybe one play to the strong side, one play to the weak side, and then maybe a pass play where you're taking advantage of having that tackle being eligible on the backside. Now, another type of play that you could consider is, and you might look at this and go, well, Coach, that's really the same thing, but we think it's different because you don't have anybody pulling. All right, so this is an unbalanced formation off of a really just like a pro eye. And so all you've done, very simple, all right, all you've done is you've taken your Z and moved them up on the ball. You've taken your backside F or X or whatever you want to call it, moved them off the ball and brought them in motion, okay? When you bring somebody in motion on this, once again, you've created where that defense now has to have recognized that F is off the ball before the motion ever started. They've got to recognize now. Let's get into the edit mode here. Let's look at the situation. Let's just flip it and look at what you've done to the defense here a little bit. So this corner needs to recognize that F is off the ball. Because at the point where he recognizes that F is off the ball, he's got to understand that if that F goes over their motion, either he's got to run with him or he's got to make the defense alerted that F is coming over and he's staying to guard, all right, this backside tackle right here. Let's put them in gold right here. All right, so a couple things have happened. If that F takes off, now that corner, all right, may take off as well. If that happens, then somebody, either this backer or this backer here, has got to stay home and cover that backside tackle just because of that boot play we just showed you a second ago. All right, but now let's say that the corner stays over. We'll just remove those lines. If the corner stays over here and the corner is actually going to cover that tackle, now you've got to make some adjustments over here on this side. If this F comes over, this linebacker right here or this linebacker right here, one of the two of them is going to have to cover that F because the F is eligible, all right? The Y is not eligible. So these are things that the defense has to get communicated, right? So let's flip it back, go back to the offensive side like we were before. These are the things that you need to understand, that if you're going to run the ball, all right, you want to make sure that you get really simple blocking assignments, either on, once again, over to inside, or you want to just get to where everybody's going to hard reach and you want to try to get out on the edge, okay? Because the advantages that you're going to actually get in a youth football formation with Unbalanced are going to be primarily in the run game. Once again, yes, can you run this backside tackle on a corner route and sneak him out every now and then? No doubt. But at the end of the day, you're going to gain more advantages with leverage and with the defense not adjusting and with there just being one man too many over here on the strong side than you will with your quarterback winning that battle. Okay, now just want to take a second here before we flip and get to the defense. This is the only place really that we talk a lot about discounts, the First Down Playbook. We have a tremendous tool, all right, once again, that allows you to not only have the wealth of all these offensive and defensive plays that are blocked up against multiple formations, but once again, we went 3 years and you know, it was painful to hear all of the coaches out there asking to be able to edit our plays. And so we made a huge investment time-wise and financially to create the draw and edit tool. And there's nothing else out there like it. And right now is the time of year to where, you know, whether you're a mom and dad and you're sitting there trying to get your flag plays ready or your youth football plays ready, or you're getting ready to start your high school or college season, you know, everybody spends a lot of time drawing football plays, and nobody has drawn more football plays than First Down Playbook. So this is the time of year where you need to really think about the investment that you're going to make with the number of hours you're going to put into going through the internet, looking and finding, maybe finding something, maybe not really understanding who is behind that play, how much experience is behind that play, and then actually trying to draw that play yourself and trying to get your wristbands together. Well, we've done all that for you, okay? And yes, I'm taking a little time here to point that out because it won't be, like I said, a week or two from now, you're going to be sitting there if you don't do this, and you're going to be spending a lot of valuable time, all right, that we've already essentially taken care of for you. So the 15% off, as you can see, if you're coaching a youth varsity and you need that package, it's not $199, it's $169. The premium, which is everything, is not $249, it's down to $212. And our flag package has gone from $149 to $127. That is for a complete year from today, all right, or tomorrow if you buy it, and you have till tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, all right, as the time limit for this discount right here, the 15% off. The discount will be given if you go in and put in Chalk Talk 716, which is today's date, Chalk Talk 716. So, and if you've got questions, feel free to hit us up tomorrow. We've got we're on the phone all day with coaches these days. Whether it could be a college coach, a high school coach, youth or flag, we spend our days talking to football coaches. So if you've got some questions, get on the phone, give us a call. All right, let's get back over here to the defensive side of this unbalanced thing. If you've got questions too, I mean, gang, unbalanced formations and heavy formations are hard. And we're trying to approach this from a standpoint of youth football players. And we're talking about, we're talking about boys and girls that are 10, 11, 12 years old. That's why you keep hearing from us, keep it simple, keep it simple. I mean, I've seen it at the high school level where people couldn't get adjusted. I've seen it at the high school level to where people have gone to unbalanced or heavy formation and totally just screwed themselves up to where they essentially didn't know, all right, where the defenders were going to be, and there was somebody coming free every time. So that's the point we're trying to make right here, is that, yes, if you want to do this, you just need to make sure that you keep the package under control. But as we go, if I'm skipping over something or we're not talking about something that we need to, and you got a question about it, feel free just to text us. We're here to answer your questions. All right, now let's go back over here to the playbook area again. And I've made a defensive playbook. All right. Now, the big thing about the defensive side of lining up against an unbalanced or a heavy formation, first and foremost, is recognition. Okay. Now, that'll be the hardest thing that goes on. And we only have a 6'2 base and a 4'4. And this is not even unbalanced, but I'm going to show you just some general rules of how we do it here. All right, let's go to modify. And once again, you're going to be better off if you keep things very simple, okay? So, with the rules of football, you're sitting there and you know that you've got to have at least 7 men on the line of scrimmage, okay? Now, once again, that's easy to see on a drawing right here. It's harder for a linebacker on a youth football field, a free safety. It's hard for coaches on a game day to see all that. But it's important that at least you understand the rules, because some of it you can get to where you can look at the number of backs. Your officials on the sideline should help you with, is that receiver off or on? They should have the arm extended backwards here, all right, forwards here. They should let your DBs know if that receiver is on or off. But once again, the level of competency or the level of training with your officials at the youth level might not be what it should be either. But the big thing is that you need to try to recognize what a normal formation is, and then anything that comes off of that. So you're looking here at a normal split back formation, right? So the thing that we would look at right here, all right, is there are 2 different ways that people can get into an unbalanced or a heavy formation. And we're going to take this right here, and we're going to take this receiver out of the game. And what's going to happen is we brought in another tight end or another tackle, right? And line them up right there. Now, obviously, they're not going to do what I just did, right? And they're not going to have a big red WR on them. And so what you're going to have is something that looks like this. And it's really important, all right, that you train at least one of these linebackers, okay, to recognize that. Because these guys up front, what they're going to do is they're just going to see the ball right here, and they're going to go eye line up, inside eye of the guard next to the ball. There's not going to be anything about this that's going to tip anything off really to any of these guys up front. Now, you can say, okay, this guy, he's really smart, but it's not going to happen, all right, particularly in a game situation. So you're going to have to train a few people on your team, all right, to be able to do a few things. And you as a coach are going to have to try to make sure that you see this, because once again, recognition is 90% of it with youth football. All right, so if you get a situation right here, your linebackers, all right, what they need to know is that here's the ball, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, a 4-man surface. Anytime you have a 4-man surface and the linebacker sees that, you can have your word, whatever. Our word is heavy, heavy, heavy. They've got to make a heavy call. The heavy call should tell your defensive line in this situation right here that We want you to adjust one man over to the strong side. So everybody is just going to go, instead of lining up here on the guard, I've got to go do the same thing on the tackle. Now, the shades are all going to be screwed up when I do this, but everybody is just going to move one man over. And even your linebackers may tilt a little bit that way. Now, the reason you do that, once again, is what you don't want to do. And I've heard youth football coaches, and I've heard high school coaches talk about you don't necessarily have to adjust. That's true. But if you don't adjust here, you better adjust with your linebackers. You better be bringing somebody over or something, because at the moment you don't adjust, there's no rule against. They could line another. They could take this one here and put a wing over here. So odds are that they're going to keep overloading you to the strong side until you adjust. But there is a difference in how you get to some of these unbalanced formations. That right there is a four-man surface. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Your front has to adjust, and your linebackers can tilt over a little bit. Now, just like we talked about a little bit ago, this is a 6-2 defense. Now, the way we draw up a 6-2 defense with the youth is that we're not going to give any pass responsibility, all right, to these people up here. You can still get by with that, all right, even with an unbalanced formation. But somebody, once again, somebody had better be responsible for this backside tackle. And so that right now is either going to be either this linebacker right here or that corner. All right. You're probably in pretty good shape right here just to go ahead and give that corner that job. Just tell that corner that's yours. And we'll make all the adjustments with the front right here. Once again, the odds of you getting beat with his arm, all right, are a lot less than the odds of you getting beat with not being able to adjust to this heavy formation over here. So the concern ought to be is to make sure that if they line up in a heavy unbalanced four-man surface, that really the reason they're probably doing it is that they're probably about to run the ball to the strong side. Now, what did I just talk to you about from the offensive side? I said that you should have a counter that comes to the back, comes back over here. So the good thing about a 6-2 right here is you're still okay. You're sitting there with leverage with the wheelbacker, all right? You're sitting here. You could take this end if you wanted to, and you could actually move that to a 3 technique. But even if you didn't, you're sitting over here to the backside. You've got a will, an end, a corner on the edge, and a linebacker over here. You're in good shape because essentially you balanced up. Now, over here to the strong side, you've got your leverage to the run game. It's important, all right, because what could end up happening is this could be a tight end. Now, it doesn't matter who it is. They're not eligible. That gets back to the point to where your players need to understand that only the end man on the line of scrimmage, all right, on the line of scrimmage is eligible. So your eligibles right here, and you always only have 5 of them, are the receiver, this tight end, this backside tackle, this halfback, and this halfback. So in your man coverage responsibilities, you would have the corner on this backside tackle, this backer on that halfback, this backer on that halfback, okay? You can bring the free safety over, switch these 2 responsibilities because it's a heavy formation. You're probably going to get run over here. You could leave it the same way. You could put that free safety on that halfback still if you wanted to. But the long story short is you've got somebody responsible for everybody in the pass game, all right? And you've got your 6-2 defense adjusted over to the strong side, to the unbalanced side. Now, let's go back here for a second. We'll take this. Let me save this. Let me go back and get you to another formation. You know what? Actually, I want to just go ahead and stay here. Let's go to modify this. Now, here's where a lot of coaches, all right, get confused a little bit. So let's take this receiver back over here. Let's get back in just a normal defense. And we'll bounce it back up for you. 6-2. This corner's covering this receiver over here. Now, what you'll also see is you'll see a team come out and they'll line up and they'll just put 2 receivers over here, all right? Put this one on the ball. And they've got an unbalanced formation this way too, but there's only a 3-man surface. So let me go back over here, move them over on the hash here a little bit. So once again, if you were to get this on defense, probably the only reason that they're doing it, okay, is to get this cat back on the backside here, make him eligible. All right, there may be some passing game, sprint out, or something they want to do back over here, but really, that's a totally different thing. Is there any real need now to move your defensive line over? No, there's not, because there's only 1, 2, a 3-man surface on this side over here. So your linebacker, there doesn't need to be a heavy call. But now, back over here, if you coach this corner who's sitting out there, he's looking for a wideout. There is no wideout, right? All right, so now his next thing is he's going to look inside and go, okay, who's the next person eligible for me to cover? Okay, wow, it's the tackle. So as soon as he sees that, you've got to have that coached up 1 or 2 ways. Either this corner is going to come over and going to end up covering that receiver as they go over top, over the other side, excuse me. Got 2 different lines here. And so if that were to happen, once again, you're in a 6-2 right here. You better put one of these players, all right, on that tackle, either the will or the backer. Now, that's why there's a 6-2, all right, you're at kind of a disadvantage, all right, if you move that corner over. So now let's go back and look at another way you could do it. If that receiver came over, you could just take your free safety and put them in charge of it, because guess what? Is he eligible? No, he's not. So your free safety could come over and they could cover number 2. That way you can leave your corner back over top of here to cover the tackle. You still stay in your 6-man front. If your backer has the halfback, this backer has the other halfback, you're still in good shape. Your line didn't have to move because you didn't have a 4-man surface. Now, it's probably at least a third of you out there going like, Coach, you're in dreamland if you think my defense is ever going to be able to make these adjustments. And I get that. We get that. But the thing is that you're probably not going to get all of these things I'm showing you right now. What you've got to do is you've just got to have one adjustment. If you're in a 6-2, odds are you don't want to bring your corner over, because the way that we're coaching a 6-2 is we're not giving any of these people up here any pass responsibility. So if you took that corner over here in a 6-2, you got a problem a little bit, because you don't have anybody, you don't have enough defenders over here for that halfback and for that tackle. Now, for that reason, we'll go back. I drew a 4-4 defense up. Let's say that you thought you were going to get this defense. You might be better off in a 4-4, because in a 4-4 defense, now you only have 4 people on the front that are committed to the run, that can't be a part of the passing game. All right, so let's go back and look at this playbook again. We'll go into the defensive part of it. Okay, now for 4-4. Let's just do the scenario we were just talking about. You're in a better situation now this receiver comes over, it's not a big deal to take that corner and cover him. Why? Because in a 4-4, you only have 4 defenders that are just run defenders, the end, tackle, tackle, in. You got your Sam, 2 inside backers, and your Will over here. So now, okay, absolutely. That corner needs to make a call that I'm gone, that this guy is eligible, needs to let that Will backer know that this guy's eligible. But at the end of the day, this player and this player are going to be covered by this player and this player. And you're in good shape with the corner over. Okay? Now over here, nothing changes. The only thing that really would change, right, is that now your Sam backer, all right, does not need to cover this tight end because he's not eligible anymore. So you can take that off of him. And you've got your free safety that can roam either way. Now, let's go back for a second. What makes the 4-4 strong against that receiver coming over maybe makes it a little weaker if you get the first scenario to where it's a heavy. Receiver's out of the game, bring in another tackle. Okay, once again, now you've got issues. You do not have enough defense out here. You're going to have a problem on the edge out here if somebody doesn't make a heavy call. And now you've got to make this guard right here, the center. Everybody can adjust. Once you make that adjustment, you can do with what you want to with the linebackers right here. Okay? But now that will probably be necessary, that everybody adjust here. You can leave your corner on the backside, cover this tackle, and now your Will backer can cover that halfback. This Mike backer can cover that halfback. And you're in good shape on coverage here because, once again, this tight end is eligible. That backer can cover him, and the corner can cover the wideout. And you've got a free safety free in the middle of the field. But the big thing that we're trying to point out, all right, we gave you a lot of scenarios, is you should make a rule for heavy, and you should make a rule for the receiver being over. And they should be 2 different things. And an over call would be coming from maybe your free safety or your corners or your linebackers. A heavy call needs to be coming from your linebackers. Heavy is defined as 4 players on the line of scrimmage, all right, a 4-man surface on this side of the ball, making one side heavy. And then over means that this backside receiver is lining up over to the strong side. And so 2 different things, 2 different adjustments. Now, another thing that's really good about First Down Playbook is to be able to take the adjustments with you to the field. I mean, you could take out, you could create a playbook like we have and create it and make it your base formation and then show the adjustment for a heavy formation and also show an adjustment for an over formation. And so if you got into the game and you're having trouble, then you could actually just bring the players over and show them. Now, the one thing we just got a question about, communication. Are you going to be able to get the communication, all right, from the backers to the line? Well, first of all, if it's and let's just put that here. Let's put it in here as a heavy situation. And let's put the line back to where they normally would be. So once again, you're talking about young players and you're getting, all right, you start counting and they come up to the line quick. They're not going to wait on you. They will try to snap that ball in a hurry. So if the question was, what if you don't get it communicated in time? Well, the thing that we want to point out to you is that if you're getting a heavy call, all right, and you're getting it late, it can almost turn into almost like a rip or Liz call. So meaning that heavy right, rip, all right, heavy left. Let's just flip it right here. Heavy left, Liz. Give you some kind of, some kind of way. I know some people go West Coast, East Coast, whatever. But at the snap of the ball, all right, even if the defensive line hasn't gotten that call, they can go ahead and start stunning that way, because you're better off getting your players headed that way and getting them headed to the unbalanced and the heavy formation than you are just having them sit there. So, yeah, is it hard? Is it, what can you do if you don't get the call in time? Well, two things. One is that just teach your defensive line that as the ball is snapped and they get it late, they just need to go ahead and turn that into a stunt. And you can work on that. Now, good linebackers make everything right too. We all know that if your line can't get there, or your line gets caught or something like that, linebackers are, the good ones are taught to, you've got to be where the defensive line isn't and try to make a play, because some of your better players are going to play back here. But the thing we're just trying to point out is that it's not the end of the world, all right, if these players don't get over there and get all comfortable in their stance. Once the ball is snapped, if you got that call and you heard it late, just start stunning that way, because odds are that's where this ball is coming. And then if there happens to be a counter back over here, then your linebackers will just read and react and make up for it. All right, now let's just get out of this for a second. Go back to first down playbook. And I just want to finish up tonight. All right, once again, because I know some of you have been here every week. Some of you are just coming in. With our offensive section, all right, first down playbook, once again, we offer you 12 different formations. And we've essentially written all these up, and we try to get a blog out once a week about all these formations. And we know you've got to depend on your personnel, some of you, your background, what you like to run. And we try to give you an assortment. 12 formations for youth is quite a bit. We'll always be adding to our youth formations. And then we know some of you are spread people, and you have a quarterback that can throw. So what we've tried to do is we've actually tried to, take each one of these formations and try to patent it down to where we don't think that you would be running spread unless you had a quarterback that could throw a little bit, put it that way. So we've got some jet sweeps in there. We've got some option. We've also got some plays where you're throwing the ball down the field a little bit. Now, the big thing to understand, once again, for you that are new to first down playbook, is that we block this up against 6 different formations, and every one of those is flipped, and every one of those has coaching points. And I'm going to go back here, and I'm just going to go to the defensive part of it, show you the same thing. That we've taken a 4-4 and a 6-2. We actually looked at those in the adjustments to Unbalanced tonight. We've also got a 5-3, a 5-3 under that we talked about last week, and a 5-3 bear, all right, where you're covered up the center and 2 guards. Now, in each one of these, you've got not only the base defense, but you've got a pressure, some adjustments. And please, if it's the last thing we say tonight, the most important thing, you don't want to try to run everything in first down playbook. Even if you're just going to run a 5-3 bear, all right, you want to come in and you want to try to take a base and maybe one stunt and one pressure. All of this stuff in here in first down playbook is the volume is all about us trying to do, once again, the work for you. You're not going to play in a game to where you're going to play a team and they're going to come out in trips, spread, single wing, jumbo, empty formation, I slot, power I. You're not going to play a team to come out in all these formations. Okay, if you do, then you're in good shape, because they're not going to be very good at anything. And if you'll just line up in base, you'll be fine. But odds are you might come out and line up and have a team playing I slot the first week. Okay, then you play a guy that likes to have spread the second week. So all we're trying to do is give you a base and a little bit of pressure, a little bit of movement out of several different defenses to where you can come in, and even if you have to make an adjustment during the game, you can. And so we think we've given you a lot of background on this. And the last thing, we talked about this several weeks ago for you folks that are just joining us. we try to come in and just give you some terms that'll help you on the defensive side of the ball, because I understand and we understand that a lot of coaches, I mean, we once again, we talk to coaches every day. Coaches talk in coach speak, and they think that their language is the only language out there. Odds are that there are about 4 or 5 different ways of saying exactly what they say, and we're no different here at First Down Playbook. So what we try to do is provide you with a youth defensive term sheet, all right, that help you understand the way we coach our defense, and we probably should do it on the offense too. Now, in our last parting deal here for tonight with the Youth Football Chalk Talk, the first thing is that we want to point out we have a very deep flag football section too. Okay, I know you may have 12-year-olds that you're coaching and tackle part of it, but you still got younger ones that are playing. All of our flag football plays are drawn up with we're partners of USA Football, and so they're drawn up with USA Football and NFL flag rules in mind. As you can see, you're sitting here looking at just the 5D5 section. If you open up any of these right here in the flag, you're going to see a drop back area, a quick game area, and an RPO area. And so there is a wealth of help on the offensive side and the defensive side if you're a flag football coach as well. And once again, we're sticklers on, we believe that if you're going to coach football, that you ought to be teaching football principles. So even with our flag plays, and you'll notice there's not a field back here, all right, but what you can do is we allow you to come in, edit that play. We don't know what size field you'll be playing on in flag, but if you want to come in and put a field in, it's very simple. Come in, put a field, save the changes. But from a football standpoint, we teach it in flag, green, blue, red progression. And so even though you're not blocking and tackling yet, we feel like by the time a young child or a young kid gets to where they're playing tackle football, they should understand responsibility football, and they should understand how a team works together, and then the blocking and the tackling will come later. But just understand that First Down Playbook has you covered in the flag football area too. So as we wrap it up tonight, just want to go back over here a couple things. Every week we give a season pass to one of our attendees, and tonight our winner for a season pass to First Down Playbook for the 2019 season is Darnell Coleman. Darnell, if you're out there, Kendall's a stickler now. Make sure you get to her by tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, or that might be gone. And if you're Darnell, if you're gone, you got a buddy, he better tell you. But we are giving away a free membership to Darnell. Appreciation for him being one of our attendees tonight. And then the rest of you, once again, you're looking at some discounts we got. We don't have a lot of discounts, gang. This is a powerful football tool, and it's only going to get better. And I understand it might be, there might be some other people out there that are maybe selling their stuff a little bit less expensive. But you start looking at the time you're going to spend by the time you start drawing your own plays and all that. This right here is going to end up saving you a ton of time and end up saving you money in the end. So once again, thank you very much for being a part of the Youth Football Chalk Talk, and understand that we're here. We're here during the whole season. If you've got questions, hit us at info@firstdownapp.com or give us a call at our 512 number, and we'll be here to help you. Best wishes for your 2019 football season.